Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, as I expand my capacity for my shadow, I expand my capacity for light. It goes both ways, and as we work on being present with, being open to the shadow, the wounds within us, our fears and all of that, our capacity to hold light also expands. So we have a shifty day today. We have Mars finishing up at Scorpio, talk about shadows and darkness. We have it finishing up and moving into Sagittarius right around 5 a.m. Pacific time. So first thing in the morning. Now, this is interesting because Mars at 0 always feels a little so energy-wise, we might be a little droopy with this energy. But it's also interesting because we have a full moon building. We have a full moon happening early Wednesday. And full moons can also, or often, kind of light us up. Even a full moon in Taurus, which is where this one's going to be, which is a little bit more grounded, still usually can light us up. So I think it's going to be really interesting trying to maneuver these layers. You might feel a little wired on one hand, but probably overall a little tired. So be aware of that. Before Mars shifts, I'm going to get into this, and before the moon shifts, the moon actually shifts into Taurus today, we have the moon finishing up in Aries. Moon finishing up in Aries with Mars at 29 degrees. So if you are up early, or if you are over in Europe or Australia, you may have some interesting energies arising in this. So we have the moon connecting to Chiron and Jupiter, conjunct Chiron, squaring Jupiter, and then opposing Venus. And so wounds around the self, wounds around healing, emotional energies coming up, and again, there might be some relational stuff popping up in and through this, and we may feel somewhat reactive to this with Mars at 29 Scorpio. And a lot of times the Scorpio reaction is burn it down, just transform. So watch for that again in those early morning hours. We then have Mars shifting into Sagittarius, where it will be until December 14th, 15th, depending where you're living. And Mars in Sagittarius, I think, is kind of fun. Sagittarius is the sign of the explorer, the philosopher, the adventurer. And so Mars in this sign can take us for adventures. Now, sometimes these adventures are physical and involve travel, but sometimes they're also mental, expanding our horizons and taking action in our personal exploration. And so this can be, if you're an adventurer like me, an adventurer of the mind, want to expand your horizons, this can be a really fun transit. What you have to watch for is Sagittarius can also go off the rails, as any fire sign can. With Mars in Sagittarius, we may find ourselves a little bit more fiery, a little quicker to anger, a little quicker to rage, especially if somebody's being closed-minded. We may find ourselves feeling very about that, combustible about that, that's the word. Oh, I ignited Siri in my conversations with this. So we might feel that. Sagittarius also is either like meditating monk, studious, want to learn the things, or it's like, let's party till the end of the world kind of feeling. And so Mars and Sagittarius can also push that partying, taking it far kind of energy. And, it's an interesting season for that. So be aware of that. Mars in Scorpio happens before Mars in Sagittarius, so we can apply boundaries to ourselves if need be. So you might want to do that. I think what we really want to watch for is like the combustible, aggro, and even just, what was that? Was that on Mr. Rogers? I think it was Mr. Rogers. There was a horse, I think on Mr. Rogers, and the horse would always say, I know. It would say it kind of like that. Please, somebody, is this true? Did I make this up? So I think sometimes Sagittarius, in its know-it-allness, can ride off in its self-righteous dogma. And so we want to watch for that with Mars and Sagittarius, because none of us know it all, and there are many horizons to explore still. So just good for everybody to keep that in mind with this energy as well. So Mars shifts at 5 a.m. and then right around 8:15 a.m. we have the moon moving into Taurus. So first we'll have Mars at 0, then we're going to have the moon void and moving into Taurus. This is a quintessential lazy cat morning. This lazy cat may extend. Be aware of that. Moon into Taurus can definitely bring up things around personal worth. This can bring up stuff around money. This is a really great time as we're building to a full moon in Taurus to be very aware of our personal values, which is interesting. You know, elections happening. Are you electing in alignment with your personal values? And then we have another interesting connection. So Mars, newly in Sagittarius, is going to oppose Uranus. And Uranus is finishing up in Gemini, going to retrograde back into Taurus this week. So we have this opposition. And Mars and Uranus in opposition. This is fire and this is electricity. And this is a really interesting day for this kind of combustible energy. So this is something to be really aware of. Keep your energetic protection up. Keep your intuition, because this is one of those, like, I would say this energy is kind of like lightning after a dry season or a forest fire. Like, you want to be really aware of the sparks. The sparks today of anything can set off something much bigger with these combustible energies. Now, of course, this can also pave way for breakthroughs and you taking expansive action in regards to these breakthroughs. But just watch for the combustible nature of it in the world. And then just feeding into that a little bit more, we have the moon squaring Pluto, not too far off from that. So again, moon in Taurus, Pluto in Aquarius. Ugh. It's just very intense energy is what it feels like, which is probably good while most of us will feel sleepy and not want to move very much and kind of be lazy cat, because this energy is really intense. But watch for the power issues. Watch for where your values don't line up with somebody else. That's been a really big thing in the world, right? It is spicy. And the building full moon, even if you're feeling the exhaustion, there's still the spice from this building full moon, supermoon energy coming in. It is spicy out there. We have added too many hot pepper flakes to the astro, and haha, they were ghost pepper, hot pepper flakes. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. So please ground in, listen to your intuition, be good to yourself. And the cards were like, we're going to throw the Master card at you at the top, which just means, like, this energy is not necessarily easy to move and groove with. That being said, stay grounded. We are flowering. We are blooming. Good stuff. But we've got these in reverse. We've got possibilities in reverse. This feels very connected to Mars in Sagittarius. The possibilities, the open mind, it's not here yet. We're in the 0. But it's coming in. The possibilities are coming in. And they might help us connect. Again, we're not there yet, especially in the spiciness. Right now, we're kind of in the experiencing. And the experiencing itself feels a little blah, and we're not really opening our minds to it yet. So cards are really interesting. This card is also really interesting. From Shadows and Light, I pulled the Witch at the End of the World. An important end and a new beginning. How Mars in Scorpio at 29 degrees. The witch speaks and says, I am not wicked, but I am a witch, and changes are made when the world bends and shifts. I hold this hourglass up to you now, so you know that a time for an ending is almost upon us. You can see the signs all about you, the strange weather, the hurricanes, the cyclones, the earth changes. But So many simply say I'm wicked for showing you this. They blame me for what they call catastrophes and ignore the signs. They are with you, and it's time to be ready. We're all about to experience a huge change, and it will be for the better. I think we're in the midst of it. I think we've been experiencing this change, and we're still working on it. It will be for the better, but while we hold on to the old, the storms will blast us, and the land will shift, and self-healing might look like destruction. The divination message says, experience an important and significant rearrangement of life on a personal or global level, affecting power sources, systems, relationships, changes in law, legal systems, the economy, values, and beliefs. On election day? Let's see. There may be a need to be able to live more simply and in harmony with nature. There is nothing to be frightened of, only a voyage to weather, and you'll make it through to the other side of the storm. These changes are part of our journey to a fifth-dimensional world, of the shift to a more peaceful planet where shadows and light are loved and accepted. All is well, and the little witch will keep the world safe till we reach the other side of all these changes. All is well. All is well. All is well. It literally says it there. So, all is well. Let's trust. Let's trust in all of this, and most of all, trust in ourselves and God's Spirit Universe working through us in these really interesting times. So, besides all this, you can book a reading, you can book a clearing if you would like some support. I want to remind my patron peeps that we are doing our full moon Zoom today at 4:30, Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. You can always join my Patreon. It is down below the video on YouTube. Besides all this, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and may your guiding light be strong, and know that you can trust the process. All is well. Namaste.